Hey guys, it's Always Improving, and today I'm going to be painting another watercolor illustration. Today I'm going to be creating a portrait picture, but it's going to be a little bit different than my normal portraits that I do. I'm not going to be going directly off of one reference. I'm going to kind of make my own image. I want to incorporate more of my creativity into my work. That's one of my resolutions this year, and I want to just become more creative. So I'm going to look at references, of course, to get the structure down, help with anatomy, that sort of thing, but I'm going to make my own image, and it's going to be different than any other picture that there is. So, with that said, let's get right into sketching. And I think that's good for sketching. I'm going to move on to the watercolor paper now. Before I put the paints down, I am going to do a sketch on that just to get kind of anchoring points and a framework for the color. So yeah, I'm going to use a combination of pencil and a combination of watercolor pencil for that sketch that's on the watercolor paper. And I'm done with the sketch. I just wanted it to be a light structure so I can start putting down color. I didn't do too much in the background specifically just because I wanted it loose. But yeah, now I'm going to start doing this, doing the painting. And I'm using, again, these 5 colors at the top, the M-gram set of 5. After having completed the sketches earlier, I kind of knew the general tone of the image. I wanted there to be a girl happily walking through like a path or some sort of grassy area. I wasn't exactly sure on everything else though. I did have a color basis, but at this point I decided to make the top of the dress have some white dots on it. I wanted polka dots on her dress, and I achieved this by using a new art supplies that I got for Christmas that I haven't used in a final illustration before. It is masking fluid. So what I did is I went in and just did a ton of dots of masking fluid and I let that dry. So after I did all these dots, I didn't go directly on with the yellow paint. I moved on to another section. In this case, I moved on to her hair and to her skin, kind of the normal things that I do when I do portraits, or the normal things I do first when I do portraits. I wasn't too worried about her skin or hair. I just knew I wanted her to have a dark brown, possibly even black hair color, and kind of lighter skin tone. After leaving the image overnight, I decided that the masking fluid was dry enough so where I could begin to paint the dress and paint the shadows on the dress. I did stick with the original color. I stuck with yellow and just went right over the masking fluid. I was really nervous and I hoped that it would work in the end, but I of course wouldn't know until the watercolor was dry and I could take off that masking fluid. After having all the base colors done on the girl in the picture, I moved on to the background of the picture. This included detailing in some leaves, some bushes in the background, and adding a base coat for the path that was behind her. I knew I wanted to add more greenery, but that was just a good foundation so I could kind of anchor in some more points of this piece. And after that, I went back in and added a bit more detail to her and to her hair, face, dress, all of that. Here you can see I'm working on the leaves and the greenery in the illustration, and I think the main point I was trying to really emphasize in this was a variation. So I wanted a variety of colors. I wanted darker, cooler tones of green, and I wanted yellow and really vibrant greens as well. So that's what you can kind of see me doing, and I'm laying the foundation for those areas of the painting. Next, I moved on and I finally was able to peel off that masking fluid, and it worked great. If you don't know, masking fluid kind of keeps the white of the page so you can paint over it and then peel it off later. It did peel very well, and I was left with a variety of polka dots that I really enjoyed, and I think it turned out and made a nice effect for the pattern of her shirt. And yeah. So moving on from her dress, I went back to the leaves. I was adding more tones, more variation, and more detail. I also decided to add some red areas. I wasn't sure if these were going to be berries or flowers or what yet. I just wanted some different colors. I wanted some contrasting values in the leaves. And before adding too much detail there, I wanted to move back onto the subject of the image. I added her facial features, some blush, and worked a little bit on her mouth. And after adding all these details to other parts of the image, I realized that the blue sky was a little plain, so I went in and kind of just added some tones. I kind of implied that there were clouds in the background without really detailing them out too much, and then moved back on to the greenery. In the end, I decided that the kind of red popping parts of the image would be flowers, not berries or something else. They would be flowers. So I went in and added detail, especially to those that are in the closer to the viewer, not necessarily the foreground, but maybe the midground, and just emphasized their shape a little more. I also went in and added a bit more detail to her face and a bit more variation to her hair and lips so that it looked a little bit more realistic, and finalized a few things for her skin tone. And those final details bring us to the end of the piece. I'm going to sign it, and I would also like to thank everyone who watched this video, and if you did enjoy it, I hope you will stay tuned for my next one, and I'll see you then. Bye!